Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us here at the Linked Pass Randomizer. We are in Week 7, Co-op InfoShare Randomizer Defeat Ganon. My name is TabbyCat54, and I am joined here by Ben Creighton. How are you doing today?
Doing just fine. We've got DrunkFutureSelf and Grimlegend representing All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Good Bees versus, on the right side, RedKitsune8 and Matkap representing Blue Balls United. Should be a good race, and it looks like we're just about to get started here.
I think somebody clicked the button early. Whoopsies. I've done that before.
Yep. That's a fat finger. That's okay. So yeah, this is a pretty important match for Blue Balls United. This is game 1 of the 2-game series between these two teams this week, and Blue Balls is tied for 3rd in their division, so this is a potentially playoff-affecting match here. Okay, now we're off.
We are off like a turtle hurdles here. Let's see, we got a sanctuary chest has the glove in it, so I mean that's always a good thing to find.
And that's not something we see every day. Grimlegend checking the fish drop, just like so many other things in Randomizer. Tossing a beached fish into the water will give you a random pickup. Today it's $20.
And I think we're going to see Grim take that all the way to CAC, and which is something that I do all the time whenever I'm doing this too, just because you can get a full magic refill, you get $20, 8 bombs, 10 arrows, and it's a good time.
Yeah, definitely nice not having to worry about farming bombs early on, at the very least. Sure enough, he chucks that fish right at the merchant's face.
And I guess Grim is going to go back up here to Lost Woods, while DFS says, no, I'm not going to go get that heart piece there. We have Matkap checking the back of Escape while RedKitsune8 is still on the opening screen.
Ooh, and DrunkFutureSelf having to piece out of Mini Moldorm Cave. Just shadows in there, not too dangerous, but also not too easy to hit when all you have is bombs. He's going to take his last bomb and head to Vanilla Ice Rod Cave.
That's definitely one of those that you prefer having something else to go in there with. But Grimlegend finds the Canis Amaria right there on Last Woods there. We have a sword in the tavern. That's always good.
Yeah, most especially an Enemizer. This is an interesting set of settings we've got here. Enemy locations, obviously, as we have seen, shuffled. Which does mean that thieves are killable, which is something that Matkap is having occasion to discover here.
Thieves being killable is probably the best thing that you can find in Enemizer, just because when they're unkillable thieves, they just get really in the way. We're just lucky this isn't random damage.
But the big logic consequence of these settings is that bosses are shuffled, meaning certain dungeons where you're used to, say, needing bow to complete Eastern, maybe not the case. On the other hand, you could just pop into a Trinex that you weren't expecting.
One of the fun things about this is when you hear you see that say pod as a pendant or something like that, you'll be I know whenever I'm doing this, we see pod as a pendant, we're like, oh look, we don't need bow. Oh, that's just rude in the co-op there, or in the chicken coop rather.
Yeah, you're used to that being one of those nice, easy, turn your brain off early checks. Not so much an Enemizer, at least not always.
It's usually the guard shack for me.
There's our first Lionel of the stream up there by Fortune Teller's Hut north of Cack Village.
Actually, there's another one by Link's house too.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Lionel's and I don't get along. I notice where they're at. It's not a good day. It's like they try to find me. So I apologize to the runners in advance. Yeah, I would do the exact same thing there. I only have bombs and I come across a red guard, I am out.
Yeah, well, and only one bomb too, so impossible to kill, no matter what.
Exactly, but Matkap's gonna go over there and he's got a lot more there.
Yeah, this is typically the advantage to the co-op format, is that early places like that where you're not sure how much stopping power you're going to need, you can send whichever teammate happens to have found a sword in there first.
Yeah, that's typically what we do is, you know, we don't find a weapon on Uncle, it's like, peace. And Matkap opting to not kill the Hinox with a bomb, which is interesting.
Yeah, might be trying to conserve them. He's only got the 3, but I tend to think even with only 3 bombs, that's a pretty worthy use of one.
So apparently we are going to be stopping for about 3 minutes. So how's it going?
Yep, we're waiting for RedKitsune8 to get caught up with everybody a little bit here after that early hiccup.
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, it's so relaxing only having one screen to watch. Look, there's $300 in Cackwell. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Wait, he just saved and quit. Okay, hold on. Where's he going now? Oh, there's bombs in Link's house. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
What a last location, them bombs.
4 of these screens to watch makes life a little rough. Easy to miss those things.
I will admit, when I have 4 screens to watch, I am very bad about watching one side of the screen and never seeing anything on the other. And then it's like somebody says something's on the other, and I'm like, oh, right, that did happen.
So looking at what we've found so far, we are still only a third of the way to Dark World access, unless we should happen to find a lamp which would open up the AGA 1 route. I'm trying to think where such things could be located that we haven't seen yet. I think DSF. Palace. Yeah, Eastern Palace. I don't think we've seen Sage's Closet.
Well, there's the mountain as well. We could do that out of logic, but it could be in logic as soon as we get a flute, maybe in a Saha's closet, or maybe a lamp somewhere.
Yeah, Zora's available. That's always a possibility.
these shadows in this room, just like we had seen earlier from DFS, they just are not, they're not pleasant, so...
And unfortunately, just a whole bunch of nothing there in Mini Old Cave.
We are taking a 3-minute minor break only because we had some technical issues early on, and we're just trying to make sure everything is synced. And here we go.
Poor Red pulling out that cape. I was just saying before the stream how nice cape is an Enemizer, but you do still need magic.
Looks like that Agina's has just a single rupee. We don't even get to see if it's the fart cave today. Makes me sad.
Very rude BMOS position here. Very rude Ice Rod Cave in general, and Red takes an early death.
That's just mean. And we find out that there's nothing on the desert ledge, which will put a little bit out of his mind.
Looks like Matkap's going to make that out-of-logic play up the mountain. Or no, in logic. Where did he find lamp?
Where did he find the lamp? Was that in Eastern Palace? Not Eastern, the Hyrule Castle, because he was able to go all the way at the end?
I think it must have been. Doesn't open up that much. We're, I think, just 2 checks. This one here from Gary the Old Man, just $20. Then whatever is inside Spectacle Rock.
Well, when you don't have very much left to go, you've got like 6 checks between the closet and Eastern, and you've got 2 checks here. One person can check the more annoying check here, going all the way up here, and the other one can go over to the easier checks over there.
Matkap has apparently decided this has got to be my progression at this point. Not even going to bother to check it. I'm just going to go and blind pull. Oh, but he was wrong. It is a heart container, or a piece of heart, rather.
I mean, in Enemizer, if you have decided to commit to that, even pieces of heart can spell the difference between life and death, so I can't fault him for picking it up.
Looks like RedKitsune8 setting up a fake flipper. This is a pretty dangerous maneuver in Enemizer. You get all kinds of weird enemies spawning, and if you get hit by anything, that's an instant game over.
It looks like we have a delay here on Grim. And I mean, as much as I do appreciate going, the fake flipper route and everything here, with like what Red's doing here, I will say that in Enemizer, I typically won't, only because the possibility of having a guard on the lake is way too high for me.
Yeah, I think in co-op you can justify it a little more since it's only half of your team taking the risk. And meanwhile, Matkap has found the hookshot in Sage's closet, so that'll open up Paradox Cave and a bunch more checks.
When in doubt, Paradox Cave has your moon pearl. So we're gonna get a Thor check. I didn't quite catch what was on the ledge there.
I didn't notice either. I do notice, however, Matkap finding the book there in the bombable wall of paradox. Let's see what I like to call the Moldorm room, but is anything but today, has in store for us.
I will also say that just kind of pointing out something that was said in chat. The what it looks like over here on Grimlegend's side is not good. It's not good.
Yeah, it's a little rude, a little unfortunate.
Okay, Enox was going to try to follow Grimlegend into in the back, and then he takes a death right before that treasure chest. So that probably feels pretty bad.
He is undeterred. He is heading back in. He wants whatever it is.
I don't remember if he actually checked the back of Escape or not, but if he did, he would know that this is probably an item at this point. And all of these time fractures are messing with my brain here.
Yeah, I know. Four-person races can be hard enough to keep focus on. Just $20 there in Dark Cross.
That definitely feels bad because you're sitting here. I just took a death for this, and there's nothing there. So I'm guessing yes, Escape had your lamp. We didn't catch it because on the Two Good Beasts side, DrunkFutureSelf was not able to get back there due to not having a weapon and seeing the red guard. But he was able to get that from Grimlegend's side.
Looks like just a piece of earth there on Zora Ledge, but a bow in Spiral Cave.
I always like to see bows in Inimizer because that's long-range weaponry, and hookshot and bow is just, it's a good time.
Absolutely. It also does a fair bit of damage when you're still rocking Fighter Sword.
I recall it does Master Sword damage on most things, and then it does, depending on what you're looking at there.
I think as a general rule, you're right, although damage tables are weird.
Well, it's technically considered piercing damage, so anything that's like weak to piercing damage, that would be what you're looking at. Being weird, at least. That would also be my D&D nerdiness coming out there too.
Just trying to suss out. This game has weird nooks and crannies. Is there damage typing in this game and I never knew about it? No.
Well, I mean, maybe it is that. Maybe it's like a hidden treasure because of the damage tables.
Both of our two good bees now having their hook shot and able to continue along. Meanwhile, Matt, having been the first one up the mountain, has taken that book, not finding a whole lot of good stuff in Desert Palace. Oh, I take that back. He found the Moon Pearl in Desert Palace. I wasn't watching close enough. And it's looking like we're considering that our Dark World access. Matt is heading towards Aga 1.
I mean, I agree with this play only because if you've already done everything else, then go ahead for it. But without flippers, glove and hookshot is enough for me to do it, but flippers would have actually made the deal.
Yeah, that's a lot of checks for you in pod. Of course, there's catfish, there's pyramid, it's a lot of checks. But Ray Corbett in chat brings up a good point. I don't believe we've seen the inside of Eastern Palace. Looks like that might be where RedKitsune is heading, and that is, I suppose, the other advantage to co-op. You can split the difference on some of these riskier plays.
I absolutely agree with you there, actually. Sorry, I had a fringe back, but definitely agree with you that in co-op, you can dive a pendant dungeon while your other teammate is clearing out crystal stuff and be like, okay, maybe there's something here. You can kind of split the difference. You can do a lot of things that you wouldn't normally do.
Speaking of Eastern Palace, we're about to start seeing those checks from RedKitsune.
That Hinox did not want to stand still long enough to get hit by Matkap's bombs, so did the wise choice of just shooting him with arrows.
Yeah, killing Hinoxes with bombs can be a bit of a double or nothing play. It doesn't take many misses to make you think, man, I should have just used my bow on it. Matt's heading into his AGA 1 fight. I'm gonna say 4 blue balls. What do you think?
I'm thinking AGA seems to be feeling extra spicy today, so we're gonna go with 6.
That's 1, as both of the good bees are now up the mountain.
There's 2. And 3. Uh-oh. Will we hit the famed 15?
Well, there's 4. Which means that even if all the 50-50s come up non-blue balls from this point, it's still going to be too high for my bet.
Agreed.
And that's 5. Speaking of rooms that can be a little rough in Enemize or RedKitsune, in that second Eastern Dark Room, that's got some nasty enemy placement, considering you can't just beeline the exit there. You got to kill something to get that small key, and it was on the Hinox.
Oh no!
Oof. occurs to me that this Aga play might not even have been that much of a gamble for Matkap. The gamble might in fact be going to Eastern, considering that we don't know what's going to be lurking in this boss room, whether it is something killable easily or at all.
It's a Trinex. It's always a Trinex.
I'd neglected to remember that with that hook shot in tow, Matkap can go straight for the Dark Village, which is indeed what he's opting to do, leaving Pod behind, perhaps for his partner.
Well, without a hammer, Pod is very unattractive. We just have him off. With a fire rod to work with and none of those pesky spikes, Kitsune should be making short work. Burn them up.
And those are boots on Bumper Ledge. That's a nice find. And that is our first Crystal of the Seed. There in Eastern Palace.
I wonder if we're going to get a map check.
Chat was saying they noticed a Light World map check, but I haven't seen one since Matt hit the Dark World. Looks like Blue Balls finding themselves with a nice little early lead as the two good bees are mirroring that same play, one runner going to Eastern and the other doing Aga 1, just a little bit behind of Blue Balls United.
There's a map check. We got a red crystal over at Ice. We have a pendant Thieves Town, green pendant, and we have a pendant on Swamp.
Matkap making the circuit of the Dark Village before, presumably... Oh, yep, he's heading into Thieves Town for at least the first 4.
I'd say the first 4 in the boss for sure.
Ah, that's true. Since we do have bosses shuffled, that means it is not necessary to bomb the ceiling to shine the light into Blind's arena. You can just go right in there and see what's what.
Yeah, and you know, because it's a green pendant, it's much more valuable for Matkap to do this. Get the green pendant, go do Eastern, go do Pod, and DFS is getting bullied in that room that we saw RedKitsune8 do earlier.
Yep, finally makes it out with only half a heart to his name. Speaking of bullies, these guards in Thieves Town are not making Matkap's life easy. these are rooms that have a tendency to lag anyway, and in Enemizer, with so much more craziness on the screen, that frame rate can drop real quick.
Agreed.
And the boss of Thieves Town is Lanmola's.
I'd be very happy if I saw that as my runner right now.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, but there's always that half a second anytime Landmolas show up in Enemizer of, what? Did the boss not spawn? Oh, right.
Every time, it's like, wait, hold on. Hang on.
He's got to be a little careful here. He's down to 1 heart. Even in a relatively easy boss fight like this, it doesn't take much to let one jump out at you the wrong way. Especially since these are tanky bosses.
Yeah, it's usually the rocks that end up getting you more than anything else.
Like especially going into that final phase. We have 8 of them flying at you instead of only 4. I gotta tell you, if I'm in Matt's shoes, pull out that cape, buddy. It's right there. That's what it's for.
Absolutely. Because the boss could eat you.
But Matt doesn't need it. He takes down that 3rd Landmola for 10 arrows and a green penguin. Grimlegend taking on his own wizard fight as Matkap shows us the South Dark World checks, starting here with Big Game.
And Red's up there at Aga as well, and I have a feeling DrunkFutureSelf is about to head to the same place.
I'm trying to remember, where did we find boots? Because right now Matkap is the only one who seems to have them.
Bumper ledge.
That's what it was. That would explain it. He's just been followed by Grimlegend until now. He's been the only one in the Dark World. Chat pointing out mirror and library. That must be something that I missed early on with all the craziness.
I missed
look
that.
At Hype Cave.
Hype Cave was full of not hype today. 0.
That's 0 of 10 hype. All the calories, none of the hype.
Right. I mean, Matkap it was low on bombs, so I mean, maybe I can give him a 0.5.
Looks like Matkap's going to be doing a little splash deletion here.
It's always fun to do here because it's like this way you can just really get all the way around the Dark World without having to worry about anything.
Yep, well, you're at least a little worried when it's Enemizer, because it's not a logic break, but it is still a fake flipper.
Because a Behemoth might just appear out of nowhere.
Yep.
Matkap's still opting to avoid Pod, and Pod is a crystal, so it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he knows he can't get it yet until he finds that hammer at the very least, and then depending on what the boss is. But on the other hand, you can make an argument that since he is very much ahead of his teammate, it can make sense to be a little extra thorough, give your teammate a chance to catch up so that you have a chance to both be doing new checks sooner rather than later.
Definitely agree. I think we're going to end up seeing Matkap do Pod while Red does Skull Woods, though, because Red has the Fire Rod and Matkap does not.
That's a very good point. Yeah, Matkap didn't even go into the front of Skull Woods, which would be a more ordinary play in a more ordinary format where you're rolling solo.
I'll say I personally do roll that into my North Dark World checks just because you never know what you'll find there.
Yeah, I typically do too, but once again on a co-op seed, when you know you can't complete it, but your teammate can, it makes some kind of sense to leave it for them.
That is very true.
Ooh, and that's a flute on Green Pendant. Very nice find for Matkap. And speaking of Pod, Grimlegend is giving us a look at the inside of that right now.
It's a good. I mean, Pod is often looked at as just progression.
Yeah, it has quite a few checks in there. I don't know. The Pod choice is always a rough one, I think, because it's a pretty big time commitment going in there. But it often does have that progression that you need.
Did not pick up his Moonpearl?
That is a good question.
Wasn't that in Mini More?
I believe it was in Desert. And if our eagle-eyed trackers are to be believed, DSF doesn't have his Moonpearl yet either.
Yeah, I could actually understand this if they all know it's going to be an Agassiz anyway. Finish it early, figure out what's on the ledge, and then just go.
Yeah, at that point, it doesn't make a huge difference which order you do it in. Meanwhile, Matkap picking up his mirror, maybe intending to take that and hit Pod and Eastern both at a go.
I would also wager possibly North Dark World or Mountain.
Or yep, the Hera play. Book in tow, Matkap gonna check that ether tablet. Just a shield. Probably not worth doing that.
No, really shields are convenience items. They're not, needed to go out of your way for.
And there's the ice rod in the dark maze down there on the Grimlegend screen. Not super handy quite yet, but you know you'll need it sooner or later.
And we're going to be seeing a Herapot here if the little skelly head will let him.
Ooh, bad coffee break. Working through your coffee break. It's unfortunate.
See, I only like doing this if I have sword beams so that I could kill those things at a distance. But I guess you could do it with hookshot too. Did we actually see both items in desert or only the one?
You know, my eyes were on different screens at that point, so I'm not sure.
Definitely going cross-eyed right now.
Looks like that ice rod was pretty much all that Grimlegend found in pods, so not what you want to see when you go out of your way there.
We are seeing DrunkFutureSelf heading over here to Village of Outcasts, and I'm guessing we're also going to see Grim do the same. They're probably going to be heading one to the north and one to the south.
Looks like Grim's going to head up to... Yep, he's pulling out that hook shot. Not worried about catfish just yet. Oh, no, I take that back. He gives me the lie.
Well, hookshot's always good as a safety to get over there, and a little bit of mobility.
That's very true.
I get yelled at by my teammates all the time for not using hookshot enough in Minimizer, so...
Yeah, and certainly nowadays, with quick swap enabled, switching to it is pretty free.
Right. It's one of those, sometimes you just forget that it stuns everything, except for Gyptos.
Meanwhile, Matkap in a rough Vitreous fight with only Fighter Sword and... He's got Blue Mail, but... Oof. The placements...
One of those, get that out there. Maybe throw some bombs in there. Do something to make sure that you don't die.
Yep, he's pulling out his bow. And yeah, this is the strat that you want, but he's got to make sure and save enough of those arrows. Yep, and he's already down to 7.
Yeah, it's a it's not going to be too bad because you do. I mean, Fighter Sword, I believe, does at least damage to the eye, the big eye itself. So I think he can just spam swipes, maybe.
I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. Ooh, nice double spin for that final hit. That's another crystal. Good to have, but not much in the way of progression. Meanwhile, DSF giving us our first... Actually, both DSF and Red appear in Skullwoods, which is new for us.
Yeah, and DFS is actually going the front route, and it looks like that Red is going to go straight to the back. Both are completely valid there. It just depends on which way you want to go with it. I personally, if I have Fire Rod, I'm going to go straight back and go forward because then I can just exit as soon as I'm done.
I'm definitely a back router when it comes to Skullwoods. Hope to find your 2 items right there in the back and not have to mess with the rest.
Yeah, and it's one of those that if you do have to go into the front, you can, if you've routed it in the back, you can just walk out. Versus where you might have to, versus where, okay, now I've got all the items there. But, who knows, DFS might be looking for a sword, he might be looking for half magic, something to help him against whatever's back there.
Yeah, that's true. Even those boss fights that are completable are pretty scary at this point with the loadout that our runners have.
I wouldn't be too much of a fan of going up against much of anything back here, other than maybe I might be able to do a pretty easy blind back here, only because I have Cane, but I don't know.
Yeah, and of course that all depends how much magic do you have, and right now that's looking to be a bit of an issue for DSF. Fortunately, he's got that green goo in his back pocket to at least get in here.
Yeah, I would have gone over to the other side there, because on one of the side pockets you can actually get a full magic. But we have a silly Moldorm here, which is so much fun here in the back of Skullwoods.
That is exactly what you're hoping for when you drop down that hole. Moldorm does not know how to handle conveyor belts, and it makes this fight nice and easy.
He can handle it as well as we usually can.
You know, DFS with 3 hearts, he's going to be real happy when he drops down and sees that.
I can tell you right now, just knowing him personally, he is not wanting a Mothula down there right now, because his loadout, he's like, that would just not make him pleased.
Think about the only thing worse would be a Helmicopter.
Helmicopter would be hilarious. I would enjoy it. That Moldorm.
Having a bit of trouble in that. Usually it's a different hallway here in Thieves Town that we call the Hellway, but this one being very close to him.
If you didn't see what just happened on the DFS side there, Moldorm decided to pull a Mothula and just get stuck on the spikes.
That's rude. Ooh, and Grimlegend deciding, I don't like the way my health is looking, decides to bypass the boss fight for the moment and go deeper into Thieves Town.
Yeah, they got it.
Good. Ooh, and taking a bad BMOS hit.
And while we were looking at everybody else's screen, Matkap found the hammer.
Yep, apparently on Graveyard Ledge, according to chat. That is a nice find. Finally, Dark World access through something other than Aga Portal. That's always a good feeling.
If I'm Grimlegend right now, I'm going to go straight to the boss, because I've got enough health to really, to do it.
Let's to see what else is down here.
Maybe he forgot that you can go straight to the boss? I don't know.
It's certainly possible if it's a format that he's not as used to. There are a lot of people who don't care for Enemizer.
I would be one of those people, but, I have fun with it anyway when it comes up in Mystery Seeds. That is to say, I don't usually voluntarily do an Enemizer.
Meanwhile, RedKitsune8 taking down the boss and grabbing his green pendant, which he knows from Matt is going to be very useful.
And Grim is going to try to bomb open the thing, realize, wait, I don't need to do that. It might be realizing about right now, oh wait, I don't think I needed to come back here at all. But we do get to see what is down here, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, it is some item checks that we haven't had a chance to look at yet. But depending on what kind of enemies spawn with only 3 hearts, it might be dangerous making his way all the way down there.
As long as he doesn't have a couple of Pokepokas here or something like that. I think I've gone cross-eyed trying to watch all 4 of these. This has been a fun one. And Matkap just easily going through this without any issues, it seems like.
Ooh, and there's the flippers in Blind Cell. So Grimlegend getting paid off for heading down to the Thieves' Town basement. But these aren't necessarily required. They are logically required, with Ice Palace being a crystal, but with a Pendant Swamp Palace, it's possible we might be able to fake flip our way to victory even without them.
Yeah, whenever I would look at this pendant layout, I would say, we're not going to need to find flippers, so finding flippers there is absolutely not something I want to find right now. It'd be like finding flute and Mire is a pendant, or finding a bow and pod's a pendant. It's just not one thing you really want to see in Anonymizer.
Yeah, although once all the other pieces are in place for that swamp play, I think there's an argument to be made for doubling down. I made that risk, made that gamble that the other team might not have done. Let's see what it gets me. There's a lot of items in swamp.
Yeah, and mitts are one of those things that likes to hide in swamp. So that could be something that we see there.
But before that happens, the 2 good bees are going to need to make their way to Graveyard Ledge and find that hammer, which so far they have not done.
My guess is that DFS is going to go that route, and while Grimlegend goes probably a different direction. I'm guessing Grimlegend is probably going to, he might grab the mirror and go toward the, no wait, he's already done all of pod, so, just we see DFS going up there. He's going to hit the King's Tomb as well as Graveyard Ledge, and Grimlegend is probably going to be right behind him as soon as he hears, hey, there's a hammer over here.
While Kitsune grabbing his own hammer as Matkap makes his way to the depths of pod to see what awaits him down below now that he has the means to do so.
DFS is grabbing his hammer here now, but he doesn't know it.
We're reaching that point in the seed where I'm trying to think, what do we need for go mode?
Mitts.
Mitts, potentially medallions, and for full go mode, we're going to have to find a second sword somewhere or other.
I believe what we're going to see, but we'll probably end up seeing as soon as Grimlegend gets... Did Grimlegend ever go turn in his pendant?
I'm guessing not. At least the tracker doesn't reflect his doesn't reflect a flute there.
Got a battle in Cave 45. I think we probably saw that on Matkap's side ways back.
So yeah, as I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to think where else Mitts could be besides Swamp at this point. It could be on Desert Ledge, I suppose.
No, Desert Ledge was $20. So they're probably.
Yeah, or not Desert Ledge, but Desert Tablet, I should say.
Ah, Bombos, yes.
But I'm kind of running out of spots to check. But RedKitsune8 also doing the full clear of Thieves Town here, so Blue Balls United will have access to those flippers if they do turn out to be necessary.
So, what do you think? Are you thinking of Swamp play here soon for Grim, or are we thinking that Grim and All I Want for Christmas is my two good bees? Or are you thinking that they're going to bypass that for a long time because one is not going to Thieves Town and the other one is going to Hair?
Well, I think if that does wind up being where progression is, unless they decide to... Well, no, I was about to say unless they go Ice Palace, but of course that requires the mitts, so... Yeah. The mitts are one of those items that there's just only so many places they can be.
And I mean, they've got Trinex protection. I'm trying to figure out anything that they would need as well. We have a blind here in Pod.
Yeah, and I don't believe we've seen this boss killed yet, so maybe all this speculation is for nothing and the mitts are right here, but if not, only so much you can do. This is a relatively rude spot for Blind to show up, because there's just not much you can do about him when he's up in those spikes. You just gotta dodge and wait.
For these, I typically...
Or rip out the cape.
Or the cape, yeah. I typically use the Cane of Samaria throughout the entire thing, but we get a sword! As we're seeing very little in the way of new checks or anything here. I'm gonna shout out our runners here. We do have DrunkFutureSelf and Grimlegend of All I Want for Christmas are my two good bees. Well, is my two good bees. And Blue Balls United, we have RedKitsune8 and Matkap. Definitely go. They're giving us a great show right now. Definitely go give them a follow. They're all great runners, and they're really fun to watch. And then to shout out our crew. We have Ben Creighton with me here on comms. We have 2D Tones and Captain at 1977 on tracking. Our restreamer is Kono Tyron. And then I am the other com, which we Tabby Cat 54 here. So if you like what you hear, like what you see, definitely give us all a follow there. And thank you for your support. We'll get back to the game here as we see nothing new looking like it's on the screen right now. Except Red going up.
Yeah, Red's going to be giving us our new checks coming up pretty soon here. He is making that swamp play as Matt is heading into Spike Cave. That is another new check.
Yes, between Spike Cave and Swamp Palace, those are two of the most common places I see mitts are in whenever you cannot find go mode. Or mitts in general.
Ooh, that's unfortunately for Matkap there. Oh, he's got a fairy though.
F is for fairy.
At a loss for anything else to do, it looks like Matkap's going to be following his teammate into Swamp Palace.
I mean, it's probably the best play here, and one of them can go to left side swamp, the other one can go straight through. They know nothing's on ped, so they can just basically both finish this and figure out if, hey, do I need to go to Argus? Do I need to go here? What do I need to do?
Yep, Matt's going to go ahead and check that Bombos tablet real quick before heading that direction, though. And that's another sword upgrade. That's a nice find.
Gotta love Tempered, because that way you're, not trying to do Master Sword Silverless, which nobody likes. I did not catch what was on Swamp's first chest, though, so... And Grimlegend taking a death to Vitreous. It's never a good time whenever you are all the way at the top of Hera and you're just take that death and it always hurts.
Yeah, it's not quite as bad as it used to be now that Herapot's in the mix, but it still certainly doesn't feel good.
Knowing what we know from Matkap's side, could wait until you get the Master Sword to come back up here and do something on it, but definitely can't fault them for, coming back up here and being like, well, this is a crystal, we're gonna finish this.
RedKitsune8 showing us the left side of Swamp, another one of those decisions that's made a little easier in co-op. First person in checks it, and then you don't have to wonder.
And something fun that I see in a Miser, sometimes the left side of left side Swamp is almost just, you can't get to it because of so much stuff over there, so just go on the right side, drop down, and then hook shot over is usually what I end up doing a lot in a Miser because it's just so hard to get down there. Again, another thing you wouldn't normally see in normal seeds.
Oof, and Grimlegend whipping out the hammer for these long-range eyeballs. This is a pretty slow way to deal with this boss. That's a feels bad. And there's the Titans in the shovel spot. The shovel, I believe, was in Desert Big.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but as long as they don't need that bombos for anything, is that go mode?
Well, we're gonna need to see. I don't know that we've gotten. I don't know that we know what either of the necessary medallions are yet.
Well, no mode, barring a ether or a bombos needed, rather.
Grimlegend down to 1 heart, still pecking away at Vitreous there. Ooh. And he takes an eyeball to the face. You hate to see it.
But he got a fairy this time. I think at this point, I would have been throwing bombs down from above just to try to help myself out, because this is, yes, this is safe, but it's one of those, oh, it feels bad.
Also, it's apparently not that safe. That was a couple of rough hits.
It's a good question. Where was the shovel? I don't remember.
I believe that was in the Desert Big chest. So the desert had Moon Pearl early on, and then later on you could come back for that shovel. Matkap wants to know if they're in go mode.
I don't blame him.
Meyer is ether.
Which his partner does have, so that is, he's going to know soon.
I missed where RedKitsune8 picked that up, although neither of the bees have it. So I'm guessing it's... Oop, and there's our first Trinex of the seed. As the boss of Swamp Palace, Kitsune, piecing out, has not picked up his Ice Rod yet. And probably not a required fight anyway. And no Bombos required. That is a Quake for Troc access. So the Blue Balls United are now in no mode, 1 hour, 5 minutes and change into this seed. Matkap making his way through Turtle Rock. Kitsune is going to need to pick up a couple of swords from somewhere. But Matkap sitting pretty when it comes to safeties and convenience items with that tempered sword, blue mail, 2 bottles. And Grimlegend still tenaciously beating his head against that Vitreous. This is a situation where there is no shame in piecing out and coming back better equipped. Vitreous is not a boss to be trifled with. With only 1 heart, Grimlegend opting for the relatively safe strats of fighter sword spins. Oof, I say relatively because those eyeballs are unpredictable. They can gang up on you. Ooh! And that's another death. Kitsune picking up his shovel, soon to be exchanging that for the mitts. I haven't been keeping a close enough eye on Matkap's screen. I'm not sure if he's found the big key, which would mean that he can steal the key and leave lava chests behind. We'll find out in a moment. Ooh, and DrunkFutureSelf leaving Thieves' Town without killing the boss and picking up Green Pendant. Grimlegend has not yet turned that in. They don't yet know that it's going to be required. Ooh! Brutal lightning strike. Oh, that's not even fair. Vitreous, as does sometimes happen in Enemizer, entered a glitch state in which he spams lightning and never leaves his spot. I believe that happens when you kill the last eyeball while the main eyeball is off screen. Oh, that is an absolute heartbreaker for Grimlegend.
It's like everything came back on for me right as I saw that, and I definitely feel for that. It's never fun.
Props to Grimlegend for tenacity and continuing to just bang his head against this seed. This is a hobby that rewards the tenacious. In the long run, if not always in the short. Ooh, meanwhile, DrunkFutureSelf considers the Swamp Palace play and opts against it. That's unfortunate. That required Ether Medallion is going to be inside there.
I think Grim might have told him, hey, the flute's there, so you need to go do the thing.
Could very well be. But then, even if that's the case, without those Titan's mitts, it's not like the flute opens up anything. It makes routing easier, but it's not like it opens up anything our runners didn't already have access to.
That is true. So, let's see. What are we still looking for on Matkap's side, other than we know where Ether is?
I mean, silvers would be nice, but other than that...
Look, there's some silvers.
Hey, turns out they are nice. Matt's taking no chances. He says, I'm gonna take the safety door. A 2-heart boss fight, whatever it winds up being. Whatever happens to be between me and that boss fight. You know what? Let's play it safe.
Definitely don't blame him there. That's you whenever you're trying to go up against any boss fight, and with the with 2 hearts, it's a little
especially
bad.
In a mode like this one, where a random wallmaster can just jump out at you. He does deftly dodge it, but that would have been a real heartbreaker if that had carried him all the way back to that big chest entrance.
And
Ooh,
DFS
and
taking
Matkap's
that
vitreous
down
fight
and getting
is going to be as quick and painless as Grimlegend's was slow and sloggy. Dunzo. Grimlegend taking care of business in the pod basement, waiting for those shadows. I swear it seems like those shadows show up more often than than would seem probable.
they just show up all the time. It's just everything is like, it seems like they are the most common enemies in Enemizer, in my opinion.
I think there might be something in the algorithm that weights kill rooms toward easy to kill enemies.
There's a possibility there. And Grim is just gonna maybe... Oh, there you go. Looked like he was initially going to try to stand up in one of the corners and use Cane of Perna.
Meanwhile, RedKitsune8 grabbing his ice rod out of the dark maze. It occurs to me that so far it has not actually been required. The only Trinex we've found has been in Swamp Palace, but we could still come upon one in Ganon's Tower, so definitely good to grab it.
And Grimlegend takes a death there on blind, but there he goes, going right back. Knows that there's a sword there, and looks like DFS is saying, I'm going to go take care of that mean Vitreous who just wailed on my partner.
Yeah, that tempered sword, a little handier against Vitreous than the fighters. Should be an easier fight.
And, I mean, he's got cape, so he could even use dash strats.
Very short dash strats with that very rude hole right in the middle, but...
Granted, but, you know, it's still better than having to go up against it with the fighter sword.
Absolutely. DFS rather, stops for a chat with the bouncing ball before heading into Hera. You know, those NPCs, they have that custom dialogue. Every once in a while, you gotta hear what they have to say. They're people too.
Well, there goes one of their bees. And DFS does get his Hera Paw on the first try there. Looked, the first time looks like he was a little bit off, and then he just nailed it on, the actual bomb placement and everything was all nailed on the first try.
Very nice. Now let's see how he handles this Vitreous fight. Wading in, doesn't have to worry about a poisoned floor. You can just stand there and slash and make it look easy. Vitreous Main Eye decides to play fair this time and jump out and fight like a man.
And DFS says, you beat up my friend, so I'm going to beat you up. And gets a map for his troubles and grabs his crystal.
Meanwhile, Grimlegend gets his revenge on Blind and a Master Sword for his troubles, as well as a crystal of his own. RedKitsune using some swaggy Red Cane strats against his Blind fight. Opts in that final phase to switch to Cape for safety's sake. Matkap's just retrieved his Ether Medallion from the Swamp Palace where it was hiding. He's going to need that to get into Mire, which we have not seen the inside of quite yet.
No, we have not seen Mire quite yet. And don't believe we've seen Ice either, so it's going to be interesting to see what they find there.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be a Song of Ice and Mire for Matkap, followed up by Skullwoods before he can go into the tower and kill that pig. Looks like RedKitsune has decided he needs a little more stopping power to finish out this seed. He's gonna grab his Tempered here before continuing on.
I mean, just the Master Sword to the Tempered Sword, the increase in damage is that exponential power. So it's like you don't notice it until you've gone through an entire seed with just like an expert mode seed or a really, really low percent seed, and then you get Tempered Sword in the next one, and you're like, wow, this thing really wallops punch.
Especially in Enemizer, where you never know when you're going to run into a rude Gibdo or a Hinox, something that takes a little extra power to get through quickly. I think it's definitely a justifiable move. Spend that extra time.
Of course, you've got Ganon himself. That is, so much easier with a Tempered Sword. You don't have to spin. You can just slash.
Yeah, time-wise, it's almost a wash, the time he spent going to get it, just considering the Ganon fight. So overall, certainly for safety's sake, if you think you might be in danger of taking a death if you're not able to take things down quickly and easily, all it has to save you is one death, and then it's well worth it.
Absolutely, and then of course, you've got the amount of time that it's like on the Ganon fight itself. I believe is it 8 slashes or is it 12 slashes? With it Tempered.
That's that sort of deep game knowledge that I should have right at the top of the dome, but I just don't.
It's 12.
Chat says it's 12. I'll believe so.
You can, it's 12 slashes with your Tempered Sword versus 12 well-placed spins with the Master Sword in the first phase, and then 12 with the second, so it's a whole lot easier.
Looks like DrunkFutureSelf having a little bit of trouble with Diver down here, and unfortunately, once you've flooded that passage, you can't just change your mind and say, I'll just do this the vanilla way without going all the way out.
Yep. And that's why whenever it comes to Enemizer, I always check this room first to see if it's, if it's even feasible. because I've been burned by it too many times, especially on a trick that I am not the best at, which is this one. Only this spot, though. The other spot I can get every time. And there he gets it.
There we go. Yeah, it's definitely takes a little bit of practice. It's a certain rhythm to get facing the right way coming out of that water, but you got it. Let's see what we're going to have in the boss room of Meyer here. Arius, what are you doing here, you goof?
It's acid Argus. It's scary. We don't like it.
I had a friend who did too much acid Argus in the 70s. He was never the same.
Go to your room.
I'm in my room. I can do what I want.
And Argus just does not want to cooperate there, but Matkap's taken down.
Snipes him with that silver from across the arena. It's a very, very small hitbox in order to one-shot that final phase of Argus. Kitsune giving us our first look at the Ice Palace boss. It's a Helmasaur.
So, I'm pretty sure that Helmasaur King is, whenever it looks like that, is going to be called the Naked Mole Rat King, according to my husband.
I was just trying to decide whether it's sexist to call her the Helmasaur Queen just because she's pink.
My husband's very first comms was on an Enemizer seed, and he couldn't remember that they were called Helmasaurs. And so he called them the Naked Mole Rats the entire seed.
I swear half the fun stuff in this weird community of ours comes from just brain farts. Say, we haven't seen anybody go to Pound Pound Town this seed.
No, we haven't.
No Smith chain at all. Weird.
And DFS doesn't know it yet, but all he has to do is just go back to Desert Palace.
Yeah, that's a pretty out of the way check, unfortunately, especially when you've already gotten your one of the two items in Desert. It's a pendant. You've probably kind of put it out of your mind.
That is very true, especially since, once you get the boots, the first thing on your mind is not the Desert Palace torch.
Matkap having a little bit of trouble with his icebreaker here. This is another one of those newly legalized and slightly tricky glitches. I have definitely been known to take a try or two at it. But it's one of those that will save you time even if it takes you a couple of tries, so well worth it. DFS very neatly taking down this Trinex. I may have spoken too soon. That final phase giving him a little bit of trouble. Unfortunately, we know not going to be a necessary boss fight.
Well, we found at least one of them, right? I don't know if there's going to be another one or not.
Yeah, I should say this Trinex, not a necessary boss fight. There may be others. We are doing full boss shuffle, meaning any boss can show up any number of times.
Yeah, full would be that you could see 2 of any boss. I don't believe this is chaos, unless it is.
I am being corrected by by Kono Tyran in chat. Full is the full set, meaning that 3 randomly selected bosses are doubled, hence the double Vitreous that we've seen.
Yeah, so you're going to see 2 of 3 of the different kinds of bosses.
I'm trying to think, is Vitreous the only double we've seen so far?
Yes.
Did you blink? Because you may have missed Matkap's Helmasaur fight. He has only to head to Skullwoods and take down a very sluggish Moldorm before he can enter Ganon's tower.
And then you know what that means.
Oh, I do. Also, that was some very slick Red Cane tech there on RedKitsune8's side. Ooh, it looks like DFS is heading into the desert.
Which we know is the right play, and he's about to find his shovel, and he's going to probably have a few words about that shovel.
After a little bit of early trouble, RedKitsune8 showing off some very nice poke strats against Argus here. Just absolutely melting some of those puffs. This is a technique that I should really learn, but I have not done so yet.
Actually,
it's harder than it looks.
It is much harder than it looks, and it's actually a lot. It's a lot more. It's a lot easier with Gold Sword, but it's doable with Tempered, as we saw Red do there. And if you're like me, you want to see a certain boss on ice here in GT, here whenever we get there in about a few minutes here. So
we all do tell. What's your favorite icy boss?
Trinex, of course.
DFS just found his shovel.
I don't think anyone on Two Good Beasts has actually checked the pedestals, so maybe he's thinking, okay, well, I've got the other 2 pendants. I might as well get the last one in full pet. And yes, Trinex can be on ice. It is the most annoying fight, and that's why we always want to see it for our runners. And yeah, that fight just went down very quickly on Matkap's side. So now, you know what this means.
I do. There's a little game that we like to play around these parts. It involves the GT Big Key, the final item that we need to find, and all the places that it might be hiding, all 22 of them.
Where do you think it is?
I always bet 2, because we also do need a small key, so that's what's got to be in the first one. What about you?
I'm going to go 16 this time. I usually try to be nice, but this seed hasn't been nice, so I'm going 16 today.
Sweet 16 and never been kissed. Because who would kiss a big key? Not me.
Maybe one of these runners if they last location it.
I think if you last location that big key, that's an angry kiss. That's a hate kiss. That's a kiss of death.
Kiss of death. All right.
I think that'd be a 22.
And I will say that if in the case here of if it's in tile room, because Matkap is coming in here so much earlier than Red, Matkap's pretty much going to be using probably single player strats to find that key.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. He's assuming that he will probably hopefully have found it before Red enters, so no sense trying to split up the checks. And if he hasn't found it by the time Red enters, well, he will have narrowed it down quite substantially.
Well, gotta stop there. So whoever wins that big key guessing game will get some points there. So we've got 2 is not anything, so we're going to the right, the left now.
Those points can be exchanged for valuable cash and prizes, but it's the holidays, the postal service is slow, so expect to receive those exactly now.
But you can also exchange them for a lifetime supply of rando seeds whenever you get them.
And that's 7 checks. Plenty of small keys, but no big key quite yet.
As Matkap kills a shadow without even seeing it, he's probably thinking to himself, wait, hold on.
Does that count as a no-scope? What just happened?
I mean, I could go with that. And over on the Too Good B side, we see Grim and DFS doing the exact same thing that Red and Matkap did. So they have found their mitts, they are going through it, and they are just trucking along.
Yep, it is definitely Blue Ball's race to lose at this point. It would take some pretty rough luck for the Too Good Bs to catch up.
There's the big key. It was...
I believe it was 11. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, 11. So... John Boy 81918 was the winner of the Gannon's Big Key guessing game, guessing 11, and he scored 17 points. Again, you can exchange those at any time at the randomizer site, the ALTTPR randomizer. ALTTPR.com. I cannot talk today. And that is a lifetime supply. You should probably never get the same seed twice unless you get really unlucky. Or really lucky. One of the two. Probably
Depends
lucky.
on the seed.
And if you do get the same seed twice, go out and buy yourself a lottery ticket, because that is a very slim chance.
That cape, taking no chances with one heart to his name, whips out that cape for Cannonball Room and heading to grab some safety strats. Fun thing about this room, this is the one room in the game that is only reachable by bonking with your boots over a gap, and it is the justification for things like boots bonking into mire being considered illogic. It's evidence that the developers were at least aware of it and decided to put this fun little Easter egg in the game.
I remember when I first saw it when I was younger, like, how do you get over there? And my brother and I kind of were just like, well, you got boots that bonk. Can you bonk over there? And that's how we discovered that Easter egg, like, about the first time we played it, and was used it ever since.
RedKitsune8 with some good use of hookshot iframe strats there. Oh, and was there a moth there a second ago? I missed it.
Well, that is our second moth, so we know where 2 moths are and 2 Vitreouses are. So what is our other one? We aren't going to be seeing another Trinex, that's for sure.
Yeah, not likely. Not unless one of the good bees decides to go... No, in fact, they couldn't go full right because there was no small key. So, yeah, it would take some seriously circuitous GT routing for anybody to get down to the Ice Armos arena. So satisfying being able to murder thieves.
It really is, especially if you played a random damage seed beforehand where thieves deal like 7 hearts of damage. Those aren't fun. Don't do that.
Yeah, on the ALTTPR website, they've got, you know, the basic presets, which aren't going to steer you too wrong, and then you can customize things any number of ways. I think there are definitely settings that should have an extra asterisk only if you know what you're doing beside them, and randomized damage is definitely one of those.
Yeah. Oh, and Cold Stare in probably the worst location ever of all time.
And Matt says, to heck with you. I'm out of here. Pulls out the hover.
If I knew how to hover, I would say the same thing whenever I see Cold Stare there.
According to Kono Tyran in chat, you have to unfreeze Cold Stare before making that hover. If you don't, there's an invisible wall.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either. I assume that would have to be something put in place to prevent some sort of potential soft lock situation. The devs don't tend to do stuff like that for no reason.
That's kind of one of those things of you kind of wonder after a bit. You're like, wait, why?
All right, Red about to enter his GT as Matt drops down for a pig fight.
And Grim is about to go get his his ether while DFS is clearing out Turtle Rock before Ice Palace. But a lot of things have happened, so if I missed something on that side, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he actually went over there yet.
I believe you're right. And Matt just tearing through this pig fight. No respect for the big blue pig. Even Ganon seems to know it's all but over. With some very generous teleport patterns here.
I mean, can I have those teleport patterns in my seeds? That'd be great.
Nice double silver arrow shot. Just one more is all it takes. And Matt finishes with an official race time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Definitely get your GGs in chat for Matt, as he, this was definitely a challenging seed, and he just took it in stride.
Absolutely. Now these co-op seeds are awarded to the team with the fastest average time. Not likely to come into play here, as Red is definitely on track to finish before either of the two good bees. But it does mean that Red does have to finish here, and he is heading up into his gauntlet. It always struck me as a little rude that even when stunned, you can't damage mini Helmas through their mask. Like, come on, I already hit you with something, just give me this.
That's why typically with mini Helmas, I will always go back, like I will always face my back to them, because if you face your back to them, then you will actually, you'll actually be able to hit them regardless. And DFS making very quick work of Vitreous with that cape. It's always my favorite strategy to dash Rapidity there.
It is very satisfying for what is usually such a hard boss to just wade in there and take him apart with impunity. I don't think it's actually faster than Silver Arrow strats, but it may well be more satisfying.
It's definitely more satisfying, and it is faster if you have the gold, I think. Or it's just more fun. I don't know.
Dealing with a very rude Hinox who will not stay still for bomb strats. Moving on. Taking on the second moth of the scene.
And we are joined by Matkap. GG's.
Hello, thank you. GG's RedKitsune8 as well, who had to go to sleep. And thank you. Fun seat for sure.
So, what did you, other than just being a fun seed, what did you think about it overall? Was it, did you enjoy did you enjoy all of those pendant dungeons you had to dip and everything?
Yeah, to be honest, I think it worked out pretty well for us, since I'm not really sure, but I think I skipped the library. I was the one supposed to check it, going in from the south. So I think we actually missed the mirror there. Thankfully, we checked it once we got the flute and the boots pretty quickly. And from there, the hammer wasn't really that much behind. So I think that all the checks we did there weren't really that much of a time loss, but if we hadn't gone to check the library, as we weren't sure if there was something there or not, I think in the end it could have gone and burned us a lot more, to be honest. So I think that that worked out pretty well for us because of that mirror and hammer, probably.
Yeah, you definitely found the hammer quite a bit before the bees. The other big difference maker was that they last location that shovel in desert, so checking that relatively early was a very good move on your part.
Yeah, well, the shovel, right, Titan meets in shovel. Yeah, that was pretty crazy, because I feel like the seed was almost asking for you to do 2 double dips. One for sure in Desert Palace, and maybe even another one in Thieves Town, depending on what you were doing. Since the first time we only killed the boss, we didn't go back in, and in the end it turned out like if the flippers weren't required, if there wasn't anything in Swamp Palace, you didn't even need those flippers. So that didn't turn out so bad, I think. But yeah, you were required to. It was almost an old dungeon seed, since it was an Aga seed. You had to kill the green pendant in Thieves Town and almost do the other 2 pendant dungeons, at least deep in.
Yeah, our 2 good bees over here, one of them actually has done 2 of the pendant dungeons, and I don't think either one of them checked PED, but they were in go mode as soon as, they didn't go check anything on the other side there, like they didn't go to Landmower or the Desert Palace boss or anything like that. But yeah, they did indeed pretty much finish most of that. Most of that out. I think anything. Did you have any? I know that you had said in the race time chat that you needed to also head off here. Did you have any other final thoughts or anything else that you?
No, I mean, regarding the seed, I think it was a fun seed to play co-op, to say the least, because there was like many different possibilities and dips, and I think it turned out okay for us. It was really fun to have this. And yes, I saw that in the chat. Yes, that did happen to me before in Ladder, in Animizer. In Coldster, you actually need to unfreeze him if you do the hover. If you do the hover without unfreezing him, you will be able to get to the platform, but you can't get up the stairs. I actually have a clip about that somewhere on my channel. I think you can see it, and you won't be able to get up. I wasn't sure. I actually thought I got pretty lucky because the ice club almost threw me, but that was pretty nice. And yeah, I think it was a fun seed. I really like all these co-op modes, to be honest. This ones and the spoilers, I think they were my favorite week so far, and it's always fun to play this with other people and get a little bit less frustrated, I think. And big thanks to you for commentating, for the rest stream, and everyone, and to the league. And yeah, we will have the last match again for ourselves. RedKitsune8 and Matkap are going to be playing again, as our other teammate doesn't want to do anything to do with Animizer. So this week falls to us.
Very nice. And looking forward, this is a pretty important win for you guys. You're in the running for playoffs. Should you make it, is there
Really?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not really sure, to be honest, if we're still in the run. I hope so. And well, if we do make it, the competition is extremely tight, to be honest.
I was looking over this one, and kind of why I've always said, even if you the two good bees, if they were to split with you guys at some point, they could actually ruin playoff contention for you. And so I think you're gonna have a couple of fighting bees there to try to at least to give you a run for your money.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the group has been really, really close at level, and well, it's random, so you never know. But it was really fun. I think the spoiler week was really good for practice. And yeah, I do have to go to sleep, so unfortunately I won't be able to see them finish. But yeah, a big thanks to everyone for watching, for seeing, for streaming. And yeah, this weekend last match, and thank everyone. And GG's to Red, who is finishing the other as well. And okay, thank you very much, and good night to everyone.
You have a good night.
Good night to you. Yep, I believe it is quite late where Matkap is from, so big thanks to Matkap for giving us that interview. And meanwhile, it looks like Kitsune just finished here on the restream with an official race time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 43 seconds. I had to double check the league document. Here in the Open League, the top 2 teams from each division do go on to the playoffs. With that 8th win for Blue Balls, they are now going to be tied with Team Moyai for second place in the Palace of Darkness division. So depending on how the rest of the week shakes out, it is still a possibility for them.
And I've said it. I said it last week whenever, because I often will come matches in the Desert Palace division because that's my division. Doesn't matter where you're at in a division right now. If say my team splits with 6 by skewed by 6 sides, I think is what it is. If we split that one, then we're out of playoffs. If Please Clap does that, same thing, they're out of playoff. Boomer Friendly, we could just overtake them. It's so tight in every single division. There are 3 teams usually just up there at the top, just all fighting for it. So if you're in a team that is, you don't think you're doing well, any upset could actually upset the entire balance of the force.
Absolutely. Nobody should get into the playoffs without earning it. So even if you're behind, make them earn it. And it looks like we're being informed that we do have another match coming up shortly on this very channel between the Meyer Straits and Guardians of the Galaxy Brain, T-Joel, Ricky of Kokiri, Gentleman, and Westside Vandal. So we're going to be switching over to that shortly. Any final thoughts before we go?
No, I think that you absolutely go follow these runners here. Go follow Grimlegend. Go follow DrunkFutureSelf from the Two Good Bees. They put on a really good show. Go follow our also Blue Balls United with Matkap and RedKitsune8, who did win this race, but they are fantastic runners as well. And, both sides absolutely deserve to have your follows there. Also, we have our crew here. We have our amazing restreamer, Kono Tyron, who wasn't listed in this list, unfortunately, but he is amazing and you should definitely follow him. And then you've got my co-commentator Ben Creighton, our trackers TD Tones and Captain 1977. And if you like what you heard, you can also follow me, TabbyCat54.
Awesome. Stay tuned to this very channel. Thanks for co-commenting with me, Tabbycat, and we will see you next time.
See you guys next time. Later.